Oh. अस्तु प्रारम्भं करिष्यामः।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते नमस्ते, स्वागतम।
So you were on traveling last week?
Nobody meant last week, I am assuming. Okay, astu.
Yeah.
ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांशः हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थः प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। वासुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। हरिः ओम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्। सो गतकक्षायां केचन विचारान् स्पष्टीकर्तुं प्रयत्नं कृतवन्तः। के विचाराः? प्रथमतः एकः श्लोकः दृष्टवन्तः, नारी स्तनभरनाभीदेशम् इत्यादि। तत्र एक पदम् आसीत्, मोहावेशौ। मोह च आवेशः च, मोहावेशौ। तद्दृष्ट्वा षड्डरिवर्गाः के इति दृष्टवन्तः। प्रथमतः ज्ञातवन्तः। एकवारं तान् ज्ञात्वा वर्गेभ्यः स्थाने किम् आगन्तुं शक्यते इति अपि दृष्टवन्तः। के आगन्तुं शक्यते? शमादमादि षड् सम्पत्तयः। शम, दम, उपरति, तितीक्षा, श्रद्धा, समाधान। तत्र कक्षाद्वयं चर्चितवन्तः पूर्णतः। शमात् आरभ्य श्रद्धापर्यन्तं। श्रद्धा पूर्णं न कृतवन्तः, श्रद्धा मध्ये स्थगितवन्तः। सत्यं वा? अद्य किञ्चित् अग्रे गमिष्यामः। एकवारं तत्र श्रद्धा, how does Shraddha actually manifest itself इति एकः प्रश्नः। सत्यं वा? All of us have Shraddha. Each and every one of us has Shraddha in something or the other. Is that right? Anybody who disagrees with it?
No.
It expresses, that Shraddha expresses itself in different ways in each one of us. Is that right? So किञ्चित् पुनरावलोकनं कृत्वा अग्रे गमिष्यामः। अस्तु वा?
नमस्कारः महोदय।
प्रथमतः एषः श्लोकः दृष्टवन्तः। नारी स्तनभर नाभीदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागा मोहावेशम् एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारं। How do you get rid of moha and avesha? Use your cynicism to some extent, is what Acharya said. अस्तु, अग्रे अन्वयः कृतवन्तः। मोहावेशः के इति दृष्टवन्तः षट्सम्पत्तयः अपि दृष्टवन्तः क्षमा we defined क्षमा as मनस्निग्रह then we defined dama as indriya nigraha बाह्येन्द्रिय निग्रहाणां निग्रहणं कर्तुं शक्यते वा न वा उपरति तेषाम् अन्वेष्य कार्याणि कथं कृतानि how to work having them in control. That was what was uparati that we discussed. Then we came to we spoke a little bit about panchakarma, nitya karma, naimitya karma, kamya karma, prayashchitta karma, nisheda karma, iti drishtavanta. We'll talk a little more today about these and how they manifest out. Because in Shraddha, when each of them can be done with Shraddha, each of them can be done without Shraddha. So Shraddha is very important. We assume that Shraddha is there now. Okay. So if we do it with Shraddha, what happens? If we do it with what form of Shraddha, what is the kind of result that we should expect? That is something that we all have question about, right? So we'll discuss this a little bit in detail. Then Panchamahayagyah te api drishtavantah. Then Titiksha. Titiksha is something that is there. This is what we said. Guru Upadishta Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasah iti Shraddha. Correct? Then Nagaprabha Mahodaya Uktavati Buddhasya Vakyam Kartum Shakyate Va Na Va iti. We said no, Buddha is also, it is not that they are outside the realm of Vedas, they just don't use Veda as Pramana. So that was exactly what Shankaracharya came and said, Vedas are Pramana, Vedas are okay, you follow, you don't follow, all those things are fine. But at the end of it, when it comes to Vedanta, you have to agree. There is no such thing called, the zero-sum game. That was what was their argument. Shunyavada. So the Shunyavada also moves up somewhere else. So that is what he actually claimed and said, okay, this is what it is. And he established that school saying, okay, you can do all this one, but if you want mukti, you have to go there. There is no such thing as a zero-sum game. Everything comes back. It all comes back to zero. So that was one of their arguments which they were giving. So this is what happened at that point. Okay. Then we saw Shraddha and faith and how these things are different. So I don't want to get into too much of this because we have sort of discussed this in detail. Before we get into a further discussion on Shraddha, let's just look at two more shlokas in Bhaja Govindam. They are very relevant to the discussion that we are having currently. They also make a similar idea of what is the external world's attitude towards us. That's what it is showing. We show Shraddha towards something, say our work. How does that manifest? From the outside world, how is it reciprocated and what happens? A very, very profound thing that Acharya is saying here. Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tadvajjivitam atishaya chapalam viddivyadhi abhimanagrastam lokam shokahatancha samastam. Here the thing to, okay, I'll do the Padacheda, then we'll talk about it. Nalini dalagata jalam atitaralam. What is Nalini? Nalini.
Lotus or lily?
Huh?
Lotus.
Correct. Dala, what is Dala?
The petal.
Lotus petal. Nalini Dala Gata. Something that is on Nalini Dala. Or there. What is there? Jalam. How does water on a lotus leaf move about? Has anybody seen that?
Without sticking on the petal.
It never sticks.
Yeah.
Right? It is never sticking. You have all these, the latest fabrics that are coming out in the world saying, we'll do wrinkle free, you don't need to wash it, wash free. is all somewhere related to some form of that lotus stem or lotus leaf fiber. Not that it's made of lotus fiber, but then it's a copy of that lotus fiber. That's how it is made. Ati taralam. It is moving. It's completely always on the move. Right? Tatvat Jivitam Atishaya Chapalam. Our interests and desires are also like that. It keeps coming, it keeps going. It keeps coming and going, right? Vidhi Vyadhi Abhimana Grastam. Our life can be summarized in this. Vidhi Vyadhi Abhimana. That is, we have a sense of pride and our Abhimana. That is, we do something. It can take many forms. There is Swabhimana, Abhimana, Durabhimana, multiple ways of expressing it, right? We have our own what is called, we can quote it, the bare minimum is something called self-respect. From self-respect to arrogance, it's a spectrum. Right? That is one part. The other one is struggle. Vyadhi. Some external facing, whenever you are in the external facing world, something or the other is keeps on hitting you and it's bouncing off. Now, how do you react to that? Is that Vidhi? You try to dealing with it. And in between, there is that self-respect also popping up and saying, you better deal with it this way. If not, I will be hurt. So that I will be hurt is very, very strongly there. Okay. And along with it, there is Vidhi, and you need to earn, you need to do a lot of things. The whole Loka is with this. Shoka hatam cha samastam. Because of this, there's a lot of shoka that is created out of it. And of course, there is again, Acharya will say again, there is small happiness that keeps jumping up and down, just like this jalam. In between all this, you have Atishaya Chapalam, which is basically those spurs and moments of happiness that keeps coming up. Correct? Is that how we can define our lives? Anybody has a different experience who can say, no, I'm always happy? Can anybody's mind say, I'm always happy? Doesn't happen. Right? Okay. Nalini dalagata jalam atitaralam masti tatvateva atishaya chapalam. Apitu vidhi vyadi abhimana grastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam jivitam masti. Samastam jivitam, this can be summarized as jivanam. Correct? So, in such a state, you have to express your Shraddha in something. If there is no Shraddha, there is nothing that can be done. Do we agree? Let me give an example. Half-baked effort, half-hearted effort. Have you all heard of it? Have you all put that into something where we do not have Shraddha? And we see what is the end result of it. Right? So that is without Shraddha. Okay, that is one part of it. And in that, you have to find the true Shraddha and start working. This is what the one shloka is saying. So, yat nalini dalagata jalam atitaralam masti tadvat atishaya chapalam viddivyadi abhimana grastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam jivitam masti. Satyam va? Can we agree to this statement? Now, this may seem like a very, very straightforward shloka given by Acharya. A lot of shlokas are like that. I mean, it's very, as we saw, Nari Stanabara Nabi Desham. It's a very common thing. I mean, it's not something you don't need Acharya Shankara to come and give you that the world behaves this way. We know that is the way we all are somewhere programmed. But the key is, he can tell you why that happens. How that is, what is the reason that is creating that? And can you get to a point where you can move away from it? That is why Bhaja Govindam becomes a Prakarana Grantha. It is not just a stotra. Okay. Astu. So we'll see the basic this one. Kamalasya dale jalam अतिचपलम् अस्ति अकारान्त एते सर्वे अकारान्त नपुंसकपद कर्तापदानि एव सन्ति अस्तु वा कमलस्य दले जलम् अतिचञ्चलम् अस्ति भङ्गुरं क्षणभङ्ग okay you see these bees or moths, they sit on a flower, they move on, they sit on a flower, they move on. Shadabhanguram. Okay, Bahirkaranat Bhanguram asti. These all our desires and everything. Whatever we see outside, we see something, we need that. Suddenly we say, you know what? There is something else looking better. I mean, you go to a mall, you see this. No, everyone is doing window shopping, and I mean, it's a wonderful sight to look around for. I mean, it is better to see people who are there and spending their time than looking at the things on display. We learn a lot of things that way. So Vidhi Vyadhi Abhimana Grastam Atma Garvasya Hanihi Bhavishyati. Sada Bhavishyati. At some point, my pride will say, my selfless, you did not take care of mine. You did not, it keeps popping up every now and then. You should have reacted this way. Now, what is that who is telling you that you should have reacted? It's coming all from inside. It's not from somewhere else. Right? It is not something from outside. Outside, somebody says, you'll argue and say, shut up, I don't need to listen to you. But when it's coming from inside, you don't start caring about it. Right? That Atma Garvasya Hanihi Sada Bhavishati. Lokam. Alochanam Kritva. We all keep on thinking and thinking and thinking. Shokah Dukkha Grastam Asti. Sampurnam Ajivatnam Etadeva Krishyanti. Yatha Kamaladale Jalam Ati Chanchalam Bhavati Tathaiva Asmakam Sampurnam Jivanam Bahirkaranat Shadabhanguram Dukkhagrastam Atmagarvasya Hanigrastam Alochitam Asti. Correct? Anybody who disagrees with this and says, no, I don't have any thoughts. I am in this present always. Right? Now the question is, all this is fine. It's true. This is something, this is a commonsensical thing which everybody, Acharya has just articulated this and presented to us that this is what it is. Now the question is, how do we find that peace of mind? How do we find that point of decision making? The key is we make decisions every instant. We are making decisions in our life. Correct? How do we make decision in spite of all this, knowing all this to be a fact, absolute fact? Right? This is absolute. There is nothing that anybody will. I don't think anybody will even dispute this. Right? So let's pause here for a minute. Let me take some comments on how do we sort of get into the decision making mode from here. We know this. This is known that our life is all about a bit of desire that comes up, and then we say it makes. But we all make right decisions at some point. We all think we are doing this right. What is it that drives our decision making? Some comments. न श्रूयते महोदय. सुशीला महोदय न श्रूयते.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can we say that that feeling of feeling that what is important to you and what is important to you? I mean, separating that fact.
Prioritizing.
Yeah.
Prioritizing is one way that you make a decision. Okay, that is one way of doing. Okay, Vijaya Mahodaya.
Even I feel the same.
Prioritizing.
What exactly we need? We have to think what is necessity. Like there are necessity, comfort, luxuries.
Okay, that is sort of your that is resource optimization. That is more of resource optimization. Suppose you have infinite resources. For a minute, let's assume we all have infinite resources. So what prioritizes your decision making?
Importance.
The one which is necessary for us.
Necessary for us. As I said, resource optimization. That is all. I assume that it is already there. Okay.
Past experiences.
Past experiences. Absolutely. That is one key thing. That drives a lot of things. Yes. Nagaprabha Mahodaya.
That which is good for everyone.
That which is good for everyone. Okay, I'll qualify this. So Parvati Mahodaya said, past experiences. Very strong. That is very true. Whatever has happened in the past, either we want that repeated, if it has been a good experience, or we want it changed if it has not been a good experience. Correct? And then Nagaprabha Mahodaya added to that saying, what is good for everyone? Now, how do you define good for everyone? We all have some level of knowledge, right? We all have some level of knowledge. It's not like we don't have that knowledge. But then, that's where the question of abhimana comes in. You know, we assume that we know everything. Take that everything and then start building on whatever has been happening. That is one way of doing it. Yes, Chitra Mahodaya.
Namaskar, Mahodaya. Saying and doing is different, Mahodaya. We have
Saying and
to.
doing are different. I agree. I am just saying, decision making and acting. You are saying now let's assume that you are going to act. Let's say that you hold to your word and we are all living in that world. You are not making empty promises. So at least we can make certain small assumptions here. Right. So abhimana in a lot of ways drives our decision making. So while we say that, we do want to sort of do everything, as Nagaprabha Mahodaya said, in the interest of everyone. Second, and what is good for everyone. And then we interpose that with our past experience. And then make a decision to take forward certain things. However, there is one key thing that is always prodding up. It is not self-interest. I'm not talking of self-interest. There may be no self-interest at all. But then, is my self-respect being hurt? You may not keep it very obviously in the open, but then that is always going to act in some sense. Is this going to hurt me in some way? Nobody wants to be hurt in any way, no? Does that drive our decision making? Will anybody say, no, let me be hurt, but then it's okay if I keep doing something else?
If you focus on what is, if you are doing something good for everyone, you may neglect even if you lose some respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, it is not losing that respect, but then there are 2 points. You are absolutely right about that. It is not about losing respect, but then saying, yes, you're right about saying losing that so-called quote unquote self-respect. What is called self-respect, or dissolving the ego. That helps dissolve the ego, because there is no ego coming in at all at that point. Right? But then what is going to also happen is a question of how am I going to be judged about this? Is that a question that comes? Is this going to come back to me?
Yes.
So it's mamakara which is ruling everything?
Which is in some sense driving. I wouldn't say ruling everything. It's driving things. Now, this is a concept beyond the action of the mind.
Mamakara is not because of the mind?
Mamakara,
Dehabhimana.
that is what we qualify as ahankara.
Ahankara.
Remember, we had this discussion in the first class, and then we said no, we will stop because not everybody is on the same page. That's why we have 4 subtle components. Buddhi, Manas, Chitta, Ahankara. Right?
That ahankara only deha abhimana, Mahodaya.
Dehabhimanam, but it need not just be Dehabhimanam, please note. Now, Dehabhimanam means, you just physical body, but it need not be just the physical body. It can be beyond the physical body also.
No, hurting me. It's me. In that way, deha abhimana will come.
No, hurting need not be just physical, no. Hurting can be even at the Chitta level. Right? How that is going to be, how it is not going to be in the right sense. Right? So this Abhimana is a very critical thing. Just keep this in mind. We'll move to the next shloka and come back and do a little more discussion, and we talk about how karma manifests in itself. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Astu. Okay. Okay, let's do the next shloka also, which is very, very, very critical. This is where the Abhimana really comes into play, and it will show, Acharya shows you how it is playing outside. Yavat vitto parjana saktah tavat nija parivaro raktah paschat jivati jarjara dehe vartankopi na pritchati gehe. Gehe means home. Okay, I'll give you that. Let me do the padacheta. Yavat vitto parjana saktah. As long as you are able to cater to the needs of the home, needs of your near and dear. Now, vitta here, this means for somebody who is earning, but it did not just mean earning. It will mean somebody, whether you are catering, you are bringing what do you bring to the table at home? It's not just money, no. It is various things. A home is run by a set of things put together. There are so many things that need to come together to run a home, to run a family. Right? It need not be just somebody earning. Somebody will be, you bring in a whole set of internal activities, taking care of children, doing so many things. Right? Till the time you are bringing some value to that place, whether as parent, husband, wife, daughter, son, whatever, grandfather, whatever. Tavat nija parivarah raktah. Your blood relations are with you. Paschat jivati jarjara gehe. You are in a state of where there is nothing in the body. Nobody is vartam kopi. Nobody is going to ask how are you at home. Vartam kopi na pritchati gehe. At home, nobody asks you how are you living. I mean, so many old age homes are sprouting out, no? Good. This one to give an example of, right? This is something that we are observing everywhere in society. It's not something that is. It was true then. It is true today. Okay. So if they have to spend time, they're going to ask. My time is of value. I'm going to spend some time. Maybe you are lying in a corner at home and doing something, but then my time is of value. Am I going to spend time with you? I'll think about it. Right? Yavat vittoparjana saktah asti tavat nija parivara raktah puchyati. This is what is going to hurt. Is that correct? This hurts. And why does it hurt? It is not because you have not done anything. There is nothing that you have done. You have done so much. Till that point, you have done so much in life. But then at that time, there is that abhimana which pops up. Hey, you know what? I was being respected till now, but I'm not respected now. Who is going to take care? What's happening? Does it pop up? Forget that. 2 days you are not asked by somebody who is very close to you or you are not there. Does it pop up? What's going on? Let's investigate. Right? This is a very big driver in a lot of our lives. That's why, one of the key ways that people say, as you age, it is not about what you have earned. How many people have you earned for yourself? How much of societal respect have you earned in different ways? You can at least live with that. You can live with, okay, I did this, so I'm living with it now. Maybe somebody else does not come and ask for it. This is a very important aspect. It is not like it is without that. Right? It is a very fundamental truth that Acharya is saying here. Okay. So, yeah. Yavat vittopajana saktah asti, tavat nija parivarah rakta api asti. Tatpaschat jarjara dehe jivati, kehe kaha varta api na prichati. Oh, I have too much work. Let me finish that and come and sit with you. Hold on. I can't spend so much time now. It's a very common thing, no? It happens. Forget that you are unwell for such a long time. It does not you don't find too many people coming and sitting with you, right? So you don't need to go out to the old age and suffer for a long time to figure this out. This is a very common thing. How do you feel about it? It's a very common thing. It will happen. Now the fact is, it will happen. You cannot run away from it. How do you deal with it is what is important. Can you live alone and not become lonely? That is the question Acharya is asking here. Your loneliness can cost a lot to you as well as the external world. Then you start throwing tantrums, attention seeking. You see children, no? Common thing in children. Why do they throw so much of tantrums? You need attention at some point. You do so many things around it. Now to gain that, can you live a life alone and not get lonely? That is the question. That is a very deep, there is a very, 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 very deep thing here. Right? Now, okay, let me finish this part. Yeah. Yavat dhanam, I just put dhanam, but anything, whatever value you bring, you can replace that dhana with any value that you bring to the table. Kutumbasya janaha raktaha sambandhaan सर्वे पश्चात् वृद्ध शरीरे प्राण संचलनम अस्ति गृहे. Okay, these are most of it is akaranta pullinga padani, so I'm not bringing too much of vyakarna amsha here. There is nothing too much to get into, so I'll just move ahead. And so this is addressed to that. Remember where we started with Bhaja Govindam, no? That person, Mudamate. Hey Murka, yavat dhanam arjanaya kshamata asti, tavateva kutumbasya janaha raktaha sambandhaha cha sammanam kurvanti. They'll spend time with you. Yada vidya sharire prana sanchalanam asti, tada gruhe tava kushalavastam yogakshemam gyatum kopi na icchanti. Right? Now, at this point, do we really understand what that, what is really driving us towards whatever we are doing in life? Have I earned anything that will keep me happy at that time and I don't become lonely? Is that what is driving all of us at the back of our mind somewhere? Deep thought? Is that helping? Is that driving a lot of decision making in our lives? Think about it. I'm not going to put all here. Okay.
Could we say that importance of I-ness is what is driving?
The importance of I-ness, yes. In some sense, yes. That ahankara, what we started discussing as ahankara, that drives a lot of decisions. Whether we like it or not, it drives a lot of decisions. The moment some become right in the short term, what we do is we start making them over and over again, driving that to arrogance.
But you may not be aware of it, no, all the time. I mean,
absolutely. That's the whole point of reading Bhaja Govindam, no? To remind us, this is what is there. Be aware. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. We are not aware. Especially when you are when you reach, say, the prime of your life, middle age, my age probably, you're all full. Yeah, I know things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get on with it. How many, that's where I started the question with how many people have we earned? And earning people, why are we earning people? Somewhere something will happen and I am going to be there with them. Or it's a feel-good factor. Where is the feel-good factor coming from? It's definitely not in the mind. Right? The mind is feeling that feel-good factor, but the driver is not the mind. It is that abhimana. It is good. If it's abhimana, it is good. But we should know when to pull our hands out. If we do not know that, it leads to a sense of egoistic arrogance.
How does one explain all this, sir, to a youngster who is in his prime? I mean, it's very difficult.
It's very difficult. No, I do some workshops for youngsters. There are
Actually, these things, these ideas has to be taught at a very young age to the children itself, because we are actually undoing what we learned for so long. Now learning new. So it is difficult for us to undo and then do. So, but
you also
starting only if you are in subtle ways, if you teach the children, they will start thinking themselves what why this and why not that.
Why am I doing this? No, we do activities. I do a lot of activities with children, maybe in the teens, especially in the teens and in their early 20s. You know, where you make them think. So just like I'll put out ideas and leave it to you. I'm not telling you this is the reason, but then I'm just saying, this is what is there.
But life experience.
Moreover, Mahodaya, instead of teaching, if you behave, whatever situation, need not teach to the children. If you behave,
Absolutely. See, that is the right way. In fact, if you look at any child, especially in the age group of 3 to 11, 12, they will do exactly what the parents are doing. You have used a word and they will, no matter what, remember and use it somewhere else.
Yes.
You would have forgotten that you have used such words. It's a very, very common thing.
For example, not to tell lie. Don't tell lie. Phone call comes means Appa is not at home. You tell. Like that.
Exactly. So that has to be inculcated. That has to be practiced from day one. See, that's action.
Some traits you cannot change in children. It comes from the past samskara.
Genetic.
Yeah.
No, that is no. Okay, I'll put it differently to you. Prarabdha is the way Prakriti will behave. But for instance, like what Chitra Mahadaya said, don't tell a lie. How that is a habit. How do you say that don't tell a lie in a way that they'll never want to tell a lie? Right? If you encourage at one level, the Prakriti may be driving them. There are Tamasika Gunas. I'm not disputing that. But that's where the behavioral aspect comes. It's easy to train at an early age. If you have not trained them at an early age and encourage their behavior, ahankara is a very, very crucial thing which nobody observes, in fact. Giving them, telling them, yeah, you are great, you are doing this. Okay, great, fine, fantastic. Can we be objective in telling that? Children look for validation. Every instant, children are looking for validation. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Can we make it objective and not say, neither put them on a high pedestal, nor put them down? I mean, a lot of people put them down, which is even more demeaning. Instead of that, can you say, hey, great, fine, good. Can we try something different now? Can we try this activity now? No, that's the way we do with children anyways. But the point is, this is a fact. And once that ego has developed and, it's like a tree, it's like a branch of a tree. You cannot bend it. It breaks. Unfortunate. Mind can be bent. Ego will grow like ego will just keep going and going and going. It goes on. You cannot just help it. Bhishma is the classic example of that ego. Bhishma and, the wonderful case of, I don't know, how many of you know the story of how Kaushika Maharshi became Vishwamitra Rishi?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, of course you will know, Mahodaya. You are
Sorry.
Good thing. Anybody else who knows that? How Kaushika Maharshi became Vishwamitra Rishi? No?
He was doing some yagna or something, na?
We'll take that story in a minute. Hold on. Let me just talk about Shraddha for a minute and then we'll discuss that. That's a beautiful story of how, ego is dealt with, how ego manifests itself. And please note, Kaushika Maharshi did not lack any Shraddha anywhere. It was full of Shraddha. And that will lead me to the next one, which is Samadhana. So that's where I want to bring this in. So hang in there for a minute.
Sir, in this today's present world, when you don't have a Guru Shiksha, kind of a situation when, you're so many people at home, you're in such a big class, it's so difficult to identify this. So as you're growing up and, when you're like past your teens and things like that, and somebody tells you you're very egoistic, first of all, you don't know what that word means.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you.
It's not.
Yeah,
so I'm just wondering how.
Worst case is a single child problem. Homes are with single children, say a single child. So that itself is a higher manifestation of it. Then you deal with 40, and there are all the single children are put together in a classroom of 40. Now they are fighting each other out for that ego, where they have got everything. So yeah, it is a challenge.
Complicated.
I agree. I completely
very
agree.
difficult.
And parents don't have time at home.
Yeah.
Teachers don't have time at school.
So nobody, I mean, that's why you see the violence in society today.
So, but they are guided. It's not, see, every generation is at least 10 IQ points better than the previous one. Okay, now IQ, when I say IQ, I'm not just talking about the intelligence quotient. It is EQ plus IQ plus plus plus. So they do learn a few things from outside. It is not like they don't get any guidance in any which way. Some kids do become good. I have seen a lot of changes that happen in good. And as Nagaprabha Mahodaya said, there's also a lot to do with a lot of samskaras and prarabdha that they bring. So yeah, things will balance out in nature at some point. But you're right. It's a challenge to face them at a different level.
Yeah, and there are no grandparents around.
Nothing. No system at all. No, we have destroyed that system completely.
Exactly.
We have said, no, we don't want this. Agree, there are problems in such systems. I say, I agree. Social systems have problems. I will be the first one to acknowledge it. But should we kill the social system rather than solve the problem? We have killed the system, which is a more dangerous thing, no? Yes, Chitra Mahodaya.
Parvati Mahodaya said no grandparents. Grandparents' house and all. Children, they are saying they are pampering. That's the reason my child is like this.
See, there you go. I mean, two generational challenges that are coming up. See, that's where I'm coming, Chitra Mahodaya. See, this is a problem. See, you have identified a problem. Now the question is, how do you solve it? Do you solve it by running away and saying no grandparents? Or do you solve it by saying, all right, I will now have a conversation. Let's solve the problem. Right? To solve that problem, there needs to be an investment of time, effort, energy from both ends.
Observation also, I mean.
No, observation is, I'm just addressing Chitra Mahodaya's question. Right? You have identified the problem. So how do you now solve it? Do you want to solve it, or do you want to say, let me take the easy way out? There are any problem will have two types of solution. The right answer and the easy answer.
We have to solve one.
But wrong answer. There is no wrong answer. We have taken the easy option. Let's face it. 3 generations in this country have taken the easy option. The previous generation just blamed their parents. This generation said, we'll not blame, but then we'll keep them away. The next generation says, we don't even want parents. we'll be born without parents. Right? So this is progression. I mean, this is a challenge. And how do we address it? How as a society we come up with solutions is something that we need to discuss. It is not one magic wand and I find solution to it.
But there is no such conversation in the common space. I mean, what's the point in few of us sitting and discussing like this? I mean, there has to be a
No,
mass movement
it is not in common space. No, it has to say everything begins at home. So we have to start that conversation at home. So if that conversation doesn't begin at home,
Yeah,
and it's so
even
much
at
of
home.
influence from outside, if you let that happen, it's going to be a challenge. Yes. Bhavani,
That
Madam.
trust is important, Mahodaya.
I agree. There are so many things.
Yeah.
See, you also have a problem. They also have a problem. But the question is there something that people are willing to sit and discuss? Or is it like, we'll keep the problems as they are, but we'll not interact with each other?
So the simple thing is, the world is not perfect. We should not expect it to
will
be
not
perfect.
be. It will not be.
So we just do what is good. That's all. We just do what is
It will
good
be
for
like
us
that.
and
The
for
world
the
has to
world.
be that way.
Yeah, don't expect it to be perfect.
And there is also not only one solution for it.
One minute, we'll hear out Bhavani Mahodaya.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to just say that as long as we are in a world which is very competitive, and raising children in a competitive world, it's going to be very hard, because you teach them something and then when they go out, they really need to be aggressive and they need to operate in the world to survive. So yeah, as they grow up, I think they will learn. We just need to place all the values and show them the way, but then eventually they are the ones that need to take all that and then apply it in their lives. We can't just spoon feed. It has to come on its own. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just as Basavaraj Mahodaya just said,
Yeah.
it is not ideal. If it was ideal, then we wouldn't be in the world. There is no such thing as an ideal world. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has difficulty. It has to be accepted. That's a given. I don't think anybody will say that I don't have difficulties in life. Okay. Now the question is, how do you optimize and pull in and say, this is a possible solution I will take, investing their time, effort, energy, or say, okay, these are my set of problems. Everyone, as you said, we are prioritizing problems to choose. We are prioritizing the battles that we want to fight. That's what Bhavani Mahodaya said. Competition is one example. You can address it. I can say a different thing. Say, for instance, you want your children to you want your child to be a Superman. That's a trait. Right? My child should become a Superman. I do a lot of counseling for these teens at 17, 18 years old, and most of them come with parents, and the first thing that I do is I send the first thing. Most of the time, the parents start talking. And I hear a lot of things from them. I just send them out for a while and then, sit with the child. I ask them, what do you want? And then the child slowly opens up and says, you know what? I want to become something. Whatever. It's not yet, the child does not yet know that what it's good at and what it's not good at. Some basic understanding. I want to do this, but Amma wants me to do that. Then Appa wants me to do that. Then I do this in the school. It goes on and on and on. I need to be a cricketer. I need to be good at studies. I need to be the topper in Olympiad. I need to crack JEE. On and on and on. The list goes on. So then at the end of it, I realized that there's no point. It's about 90% of the children are like this. And then at the end of it, I bring the parents in and I end up saying in various different forms and states, I just tell them one sentence. If you want your child to be a cricketer, footballer, plus academician, plus, then you should have had 10 children, not one child.
Assign one for each.
You can't say that one child should be, 100 things. I mean, there's a limitation to the child as well.
There is also a good saying, what they used to tell me, right? You take horse to the water. Don't force it to drink. Take it to the pond, but let it drink. Whatever thirst it has, let it drink.
Expose the child to various things.
Yeah.
And see, that's basically an exposure. Now, don't force anything on anybody. This happens the other way around also. When you force, elders to do certain things which they are not comfortable doing because they have grown up in some ways, and you force them to take up some action, something, and they say, no, I can't be here.
So we should not think what I know, or what I think is perfect should apply to them also. No, it's just expose them, take them there. Yeah.
That's exactly where it is coming from. It is not the mind. Please note, it is not the mind driving this. Mind will tell you, okay, these are my desires, these are what things I want, these are things that I don't want. Right? Now, the expression of these things will happen through that I.
Ankara.
Right? Okay, now we'll move to the next point and come to how Shraddha expresses in the three forms. Now, that's where I wanted to bring. I think I showed this slide last time. I showed this. Chaturvarnya maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagasha tasya kartaramapi ma vidya kartaram avyayam. Okay, I forget that. I just put this in Rajas Sattva Rajas and Tamas. We discussed this. Everybody got this point of, how the RGB comes up and RGB takes up and etc. Now, let us see how this desires of the mind or whatever we want to do into action expresses itself as a karma through that I, through that ahankara. Right? Now, what happens if you are high on sattva? In karma, it says, aphalakankshi. Aphalakankshi. Yajna is here, you can take it as a technical term to denote karma. Okay. Your activities, whatever activities you take up. A sattvic person will be aphalakankshi without any expectation of the fruit.
Results.
Vidhi drishtaha. What is vidhi drishtaha? As I said, there is a right way of doing something, there is an easy way of doing something. A sattvic person will take the right way of doing it. Okay. Ishtavyam yeveti manah samadhaya sa sattvikaha. One who keeps it at a very samadhana, at a equanimity, state of equanimity always. That is how a sattvic person, the I in the sattvic person, will express itself. Manas is always in a samadhana state. It is not jumping up and down. It is not saying, it is not saying, this did not work. Let me jump here. Let me get this. Let me go there. Let me do. It is not like the monkey. The manas is a monkey. We all agree, no? As Madhavan sir was easy. We just did that Shivananda Lahari. We just did something on the manas. There's a beautiful shloka there, which he compares three shlokas to the monkey, and he beautifully compares it. How the manas is a monkey. Now, how do you keep this monkey in your control? A sattvic person will know how to keep that in control. That is the point it is saying here. Okay. The I in the sattvic person will keep that in control in an equanimity state and then act accordingly. Vidhi drishtaha, who is well in the know of the rights and wrongs, he'll be very clear about that and express only when what is to be done. We'll just speak about what is vidhi and nisheda and what ends and means, etc. comes. We'll just talk about that in a minute. Okay. Abhisandhayatu phalam, one who wants phala, dharbartam api, dambhartam api. I need to get this, damba. I need to be there. If I am not getting it, how can somebody else get it? I better get this. Vichayvayat ijyate. Bharata Shrestha is to Arjuna. This is from Bhagavad Gita in the Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Okay. Vidhi Rajasam. That is what the I-ness will manifest itself over and above. Instead of keeping everything at equanimity state, it says, no, I need this. This has to come. There is no way. I cannot get this. It is very, very clearly, this is what I need to get. It's very clear. Okay. The tamasika one, vidhihinam, does not even understand what is right and wrong. Asrishtanam, mantrahinam is saying, you do it all the apachara, not upachara, but apachara. You say, a guest coming home should sit on I'll give a beautiful chair to him. He says, no, I don't want to give the chair. I'll make him sit down. I'll sit on the chair. I mean, I'm just giving an example, but that is the way it goes. Then, Shraddha Virahitam, very important. Shraddha Virahitam, Tamasam Parichakshate. That is the way Shraddha will. It is, okay, I need to do this, I'll do this. I need to do this, let me get away doing this. That's all. There is no, this is where the half-hearted attempts to get things going will manifest. Okay. It can express in anybody and everybody. Okay. And what does Krishna say about this? Okay, we saw there is 1 minute. Hold on. We'll get to. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shraddha can express this way. Now, we also saw this, how this Kala Chakra goes, I said this cycle, assume this cycle is a body, you have the Sanchita Karma, Prarabdha, Agami, Mrityu, and then it goes on and on. This way, we saw this whole thing earlier, right? Okay. Now, okay, let me just tell you before I get this. Okay, this is where I want to express the how this I-ness comes up. This we can understand through one story, how Kaushika Maharshi became, Vishwamitra. Okay. Yeah, we are starting here from Bodhya. She's already messaged. Okay, yes. So, Kaushika Maharshi, so Vishwamitra Maharshi, everybody knows. There is one Vishwamitra who is a great Brahmarshi, and who is the Gayatri Mantra Drishtara, who took Rama and Lakshmana through the forest, and then who did so many great things. Now, he is one whose transition was from a human being to a Brahmarshi. It was not an overnight transformation. Unlike Vasishta and Yamadagni and all of them who were Brahma's Manasaputra. So, Vishwamitra was a king in his Purva Ashrama. He was Kaushika. So Kaushika said, he once came to Vasishta's ashrama after a war, winning a war or some such thing. And there, Vasishta Maharshi treated him well, gave him all the Atithi Satkara. Right? So at that point, it was beautifully done and everything was great. And he saw Nandini. Nandini is that Kamadhenu. Basically, the Kamadhenu who gives everything whenever you want, whatever you want. And that is how Vasishta was able to satisfy the urges of Kaushika. Now, Kaushika wanted Nandini. He said, I need this. That's it. How I get it is not going to matter. I am going to get this. How I get it, nobody cares. So he went on and on. Then first he tried to coax him, say, please give it, I'll give you so much gold, so much of this one, Sama, Dana, all that he tried. Then that did not work. Then he tried to steal away in the night, Nandini. Nandini said, I will give you the soldiers, go fight, they will all fight for them. So Vasishta created those soldiers, they fought. Then that also did not work. Then he tried to say, no, this will not work, I need to get something more. Nothing was working. There were so many soldiers coming, there were so many things coming, nothing was working. So then he said, okay, now I need to get some more, I need to do some more and I need to get the more tapas. You need to defeat, his objective was simple. His objective was, I need to defeat Vasishta and get Nandini at this point. At this point in time, that was his objective. He did not know anything beyond that. So he just went and tapas. He got some great astra, shastra, everything. He came here, then did, and then he tried to destroy him. So in the process, we got nothing was happening. He was not successful at all. Every time he was trying something, Nandini would come and save. At some point, he went about, said he even got Brahmastra from Brahma. He said, now I know everything. Now I am equal to Vasishtha. That's what he said. I am equal to Vasishtha. There is no way I am, because he got the Brahmastra. Brahmastra means that is, he is a Brahma's Manasa Putra. Now Brahma has given me something, so I am also equal. So he destroyed the entire clan. He then even went about, he said, Vasishtha should now accept that I am equal to him. So he needs to give me Nandini. That was his argument. So Vasishtha said nothing to him. No, you can do whatever you want with it. So with that, he ended up killing 100 children of Vasishtha. He fought the 100 children of Vasishtha. He killed them, everything. Vasishtha didn't say anything. He said, my children, they need to fight. They need to learn how to fight it. And if they are dying, they're dead. That's all. He left it at that. When he came to take away Nandini, Vasishtha said, I'll put the Brahmadanda in between. Brahmastra can also not do anything. That's when he realized that something was not right. In fact, Arundhati gets very angry when she loses all her 100 children. He says, what was wrong with you? Why couldn't you just have told him, let go? I mean, you are Vasishtha now, you are Brahma Rishi, whatever he wanted to hear. He said, no, there are so many things that has to happen. He's someone who needs to get so many things. So he then does so much of tapas. Every time he goes and does something, then he goes, Brahma comes and says, first time he says, you're a Rishi. He gets very angry. How can I be a Rishi? Now I've done so much tapas, I should be the Brahma Rishi. He loses all that, starts all over again. Then this lady comes, who is that? Menaka comes, and before Menaka comes, there is another, that Trishanku. That fellow, I don't remember his name. Who is that?
Kama.
Huh?
That Kama, who puts the flower bow and arrow, Kama or something.
No, not Manmata. Not Manmata. That there was that king who wanted to go to heaven with the body.
I think Nahusha, right? Nahusha.
Nahusha, right? You're right. Nahusha comes. He's of the Raghava Vamsha. He says, I want to go to the heaven. I want to go to Swarga, but I don't want to leave the body. I want to go with this body. So Vishwamitra says, wonderful. I will. First, in fact, he tries Agastya Maharshi, and then he tries Kapila Muni. In fact, Krishna says, Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. He goes to Kapila and says, Kapila says, no. Those things, I know I can do such things, but I will not do. That is not what is made. That is not why my powers are given to me. They all say that. Vishwamitra, he comes to Kaushika Maharshi, he is yet to become Brahma Rishi and Vishwamitra, but he says, don't worry, I will send you. I will send you to Indraloka in this body. Don't worry about it. Because I have the power. Though that is the arrogance. That's how arrogance actually manifests. Nothing wrong with Vishwamitra. But he says, I'll send it. I'll send you. He sends, Indra says, no, not acceptable. Then he says, don't worry, I'll create one Swarga for you.
Trishanku.
He creates the Trishanku and says, this is exactly like Swarga, you will be there. Now, the problem with this sort of an approach to anything is that whatever gets created, this is where we were talking about the Kamya Karma, Nisheda Karma, Vidhi, Nisheda, etc. Certain things get vitiated. The I gets expressed. Now, this is all very beautifully, storyfully told in a lot of ways in our Shastras. It's like the Tom and Jerry stories which we see, but then there's a message coming out of the stories, right? It is not, everything is not exactly the same. Okay. Oh, I think I didn't start recording this, is it? Oh my God.
Oh,
okay.
oh.
Okay. Never mind. So, he created. That means you create something. That means every time you create something, there is an equal and opposite something else also getting created somewhere. Right? You are sending him somewhere else then. That also has to happen. So, okay, this story is in this. If you want, you can read it from the Sarga, I think 47 to 60 in Balakanda of Ramayana. Balakanda Ramayana, the second part, it is fully there. So that who is that Maharshi? That Ahalya's son recites the story. what kind of a great Maharshi is Vishwamitra, he says. Then he finds Gayatri Mantra, then, Menaka comes, he gets married to her. Then because of that, there is Shakuntala. Shakuntala is actually Menaka and Vishwamitra's daughter. Then suddenly he realizes, oh no, this was not supposed to be there. He tries to catch it and goes away.
And every time his tapas will reduce because of that.
Every time he does something like this, he loses all the power that he has got. And all this for what? He wanted Vasishtha to say, you are my equal. That's all. All that he wanted was that one statement from Vasishtha. Okay, you are my equal. That's it. And he went on and on and on. He did a lot of good to the Loka at that point. It is not that it was without any meaning. But then, if it is at a Vishwamitra level, it's okay. But suppose somebody not knowing things do these things, it ends up in a wrong state. Right? So this is what happens with him. Then I think Menaka, after that he went and goes, he becomes a Maharshi. Then first he becomes a Rajarishi, then becomes a Maharshi. And at the time he said, Brahma comes and says, you are a Rajarishi now. He says, how dare you tell me a Rajarishi? I should be a Brahmarishi now. And then everything is off. Then he goes, he says, you are a Maharshi now. And he says, oh, okay, maybe I should work more. That's when his arrogance has come down. Then he goes and does a lot of tapas. Then he says, then again Brahma comes and says, now you are a Brahmarishi. Then he says, no, it is not enough if you tell. Vasishtha has to tell me that I am a Brahmarishi. So Vasishtha, then they become friends and it goes on. The story is like that. But the point is that the arrogance can express itself in various ways. So that is the whole point of this story, the small story that comes out as that. Okay. So now the question that comes up is, when we say that, yes, this is the result that I need to get. We have discussed this earlier as well. When we say this is the result that I need to get, then it comes to a question of, am I the real adhikari of this result? What are all the factors on which the result of something of a karma depend on? Right? So that, I think, let's understand this through, where is my, I think I stopped. I stopped here. Kala Chakra. Who is responsible for the result? Okay. Okay. First and foremost thing that we need to ask ourselves is, did we create the circumstance? In some sense, yes, because it may be a prarabdha. So yes, you might have in somewhere the circumstance, the situation was also created. Okay. Did you single-handedly orchestrate everything to its perfect finish? Associates, subordinates, partners, etc., guru, so on and so forth. Did you know the source of the success of a work? What is it that leads to the success? Do we have control over every parameter that comes in? Outside world, definitely. Do we know? We all know how much the outside world wants to interfere in our work, right? Anybody who has not experienced it? Okay. So, okay, let's leave the outside world. We can't even control our own mind and it's saying, no, let's do it this way. No, it is not good. Let me do it this way. No, this will give me better result. No, this is right. No, let's do it this. Please, please, please. It's all nice. Have you all heard this? The mind saying this? How many times have we full control of that? That itself is not there. So there are 5 drivers of this result. This is what we say. Adhishtanam tata karta, karanancha pratak vidam, vividhascha pratak cheshta, daivan chaivatra panchamam. This is in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which comes, a result is basically the basic substratum, the surroundings that you need. The doer, of course, karta. It depends on my mind, it depends on my shraddha, it depends on how that I is manifesting, how it is doing, etc., etc. Then, of course, the gadgets. If you want to, pull down a tree, you better have a good axe. If the axe is not, sharp enough, it is not going to be pulled down. I've put down as business processes, but then here it could be everything around that is helping, the helping hands that you get. Then Krishna says, beyond all these four, there is necessarily an invisible hand. Daivan chaivatra panchamam. That which is acting beyond you. Please make sure that you are aware of this while you are acting on something. If you are not aware of this, then don't come and say, don't comment crip that I didn't get the result. That makes no sense. Okay. But then Krishna also says something more. This is in the 7th chapter, 16th shloka, 16th or 17th shloka. Yo yamyam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya architum ichchati tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadhami aham. I will give whatever they expect. You want a promotion, you'll get a promotion. But then don't cry if you don't like that promotion. I've seen this happen in a lot of companies. They desperately want to be promoted, but then they end up with the wrong manager. They have no idea how to handle it. What to do? You asked for the promotion. You didn't say, you got the promotion. It is not like you didn't get the promotion. Or it came at a point in time when you were least prepared for it. Or you want money. You have asked for so much money, but then it comes at a time when you can't enjoy it at all. All this happens. So there is an invisible hand that is working. But Krishna, if you are asking with Shraddha, I will give you that. However it comes. Okay. So this is the Shraddha. This is the point of Shraddha that comes in here. Okay. So Adhishtanam, I have given some example. This is a straightforward thing. In the self, if we are acting, then it is this karta, karanam, etc. What is it in the CD player? I don't think I want to get into too much of it. Okay. Let's go to, Then the question is, there is what is called a Sukshma Tattva and Sthula Tattva. Okay. So, now, let me explain this differently. There's an electric fan rotating, right? Most of us are probably even enjoying it. So let us say that an electric fan there, will it rotate without electricity? So what is really rotating? What we see as rotating and what is causing it to rotate. There is a cause and an effect. Now, the cause is that electricity, perhaps. Now, only because it is channelized through a fan, it is behaving this way. Suppose I channelize it through something else, it will behave in different way. That's exactly how our prakritis are. Right? Now, where am I going to channelize it through? Am I going to, if I channelize it to somebody else, for instance, and if I'm going to bring it to somebody else, it can trigger 2 or 3 multiple different behaviors in multiple different people. Correct? The prakriti is that sukshma in me. And I am trying to orchestrate something, expecting some form of result. Right? Now, expecting that form of result needs 2 things. It needs to know the kind of fan. Fan is easy because it's an innate object. Unless I completely understand the prakriti of the other person, or I completely understand the nature of the other, the reactive possibility of the other person, orchestrating something can lead to some dangerous consequences, as we saw with, in the Vishwamitra story or other stories that we see around. Right? So this is how the I-ness will come up. But the I-ness will say, no, do it. You should get this result. Do it this way. It's very important for managers to understand this. Especially I talk of it from the management perspective, but it's true of it in any perspective, from a very psychological perspective. You need to be aware of how the person is going to react to what you are going to give. Doctors especially need to be aware of how the patient will behave. We have standardized it today saying, 350 mg, 650 mg, etc. But if you look at our system of medication, for instance, it is very, very personalized. And when you say personalized, it is not just about knowing how it will be or knowing one technique of doing it. It's also about how the person is going to react to that that sort of dosage, medication, etc., that comes up. Okay, so this is the other part that I wanted to talk about. Then, why does this full screen go off here? Okay. Okay, discovery. Okay, we have another 10 minutes, so I can finish this part. Yeah. So how should our Shraddha really manifest? This is the question that we should ask, right? Now it all depends on how we are willing to take the outcome of things that come up, right? First and foremost, we set some targets and goals. Prayojana, without that, I don't think anybody starts working. We should not start working actually. We should have that goal. If you have a what's in it for me, then there is a result orientation component to it. I am oriented to that. If it's a good result or a bad result, I'm not yet satisfied. I'll go back, reset my goals. If it's a bad result, if there is wisdom, it will take a different route. It will reset this one. If I don't learn from this, there is going to be sadness, there is going to be depression, burnout, obvious cases, right? If there is wisdom, then I'll try to find out what are my real drivers of contentment. What is it that's driving my contentment here? Then I'll also find out if there is no what's in it for me, no result orientation, then the drivers of contentment, all these come to this point. Okay. Then this is where the purification of mind will happen. At the end of the day, our objective for anything is to purify our mind. Correct? Anybody disagrees with that? Karma is for purification of mind. Chitta shuddhyartam natu vastu upalabhyate. That's what Shankaracharya says. So basically, if you are doing karma, it is for purifying the mind. If that is your sole purpose, then the drive of that karma becomes very, very different. It is not going to be just, driven by, okay, have I got the result that I expected? Now, the result I expected need not be, a result that is saying what's in it for me. It need not be the what's in it for me. It could be the result. Have I achieved this result or not? We are going to reset those goals. Satisfied, not satisfied. Otherwise, I can go back and say, what is the driver of this? Can I somewhere redo my karma to come up with some thoughts? Okay. So what I will do, I will probably pause here. I'm assuming, again, I'm going to hear Parvati Maudya say it's been an overload. So let's hear some things. I want to hear some comments. Thoughts, comments. Vadatu Maudya. Yeah, Afran Maudya Vadatu.
I have a question actually. Could you please explain again the meaning of apachara?
Apachara, okay. Okay. There is achara, there is apachara. Okay. One which is, okay, let me give a very simple example. Let us say let's say your CEO comes home. Simple example, straightforward example. What will you do? You'll respect. Now, this respect could be out of many of the three things. You like him and he's a very friendly natured person. So you respect him out of a lot of Shraddha, Bhakti, everything, and give him all the respect. Second, it's a transactional relationship. A lot of your promotional things, a lot of your things depend on his being happy. So you'll respect him, no doubt, and then bring him and give him all the, what is called courtesy matters. You'll be courteous, but you'll not be personal. You'll be very professional in your relationship. Possible. Second way. Third way is, okay, fair enough. He comes and then you say, I have come here, but then you don't treat him well at all. Even though you have anything, right? Now this third way is, the first two are what is called achara. Shishtachara or achara, right? Then there is apachara. The third one is a form of apachara. saying, no, I don't want, you say, okay, you figure out, okay, or you honest face say, don't come home. I don't want you. Now, in the second case, where you are transactional, you'll be careful with the way you are dealing. You may not give out all the information. You may not come up with all the right. You may not, but you'll be speaking very carefully about what you're saying. But you'll not be disrespectful to the person, right? Both the forms are achara, shishtachara, achara. These things come because there are many colleagues. There are so many people we deal with without having to be friendly with. Then there is apachara, where you totally disrespect. That is a form of apachara. Now, same way, when you are doing certain things with a lot of shraddha, bhakti, you can do it in a transactional way. Or you can do it with shraddha. Okay, I don't have anything. No phalakamshi. Okay, that is achara. Then there is apachara. I will not tell. Okay, you tell me I need to. You need to. Okay, these. There are a lot of these folks who keep doing this. You say you need to pour water on the shivlinga. That water has to be pure, etc. No. I'll get dirty water and pour it. That's apachara. So it can be in multiple ways. How you express that? How you express these things? So there is achara, there is apachara. Right? So yeah, I didn't bring that shloka. It is like, what does it say? Artha, artharthi, jigyasu, jnaninaha. So there are 4 forms of bhaktas. The shraddha is expressed in 4 ways by different bhaktas. Artha is basically someone who says, well, I'll remember God when it's in trouble. All good things are done because I did it. That I-ness has come up. All bad things, Paramatma is bad. He does not like me. He is doing it. So I'll go and say, make sure you don't do wrong things to me. Yeah, be good. Okay. So that's the first form. Second form is this transactional form. I'll break a coconut if I get something. I'll do something. It's a transactional. It's an exchange of things. The third one is jigyasu, who genuinely is curious to know things. The fourth one is jnani, who knows what exactly it is. He'll not get into this transactional or anything. But okay, this is how I need to do it. I am well aware of it. Sudama is a good example. Bhishma is a good example. Who knew exactly who Paramatma is. Right? Jigyasu, somewhere probably all of us are jigyasu, so we are all sitting here in some sense. Right? Without questioning a lot of things. So that is where these are the 4 things. And Krishna says, I will respect each of them on their merit. I will not throw away anybody. On their merit, I will do everything as they ask for. And then, but jnaninaha me priyaha. I love the jnanis. They are my favorite. That also he comes up and says. So that is achara and apachara. Yeah. Any other points, questions? Parvati Mahodaya, thoughts? भवत्याः ध्वनिमुद्रिका मुखम् अस्ति.
Which Parvati you're talking to? I don't know. The 2 Parvatis that you want to know.
Bhavati.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of things are confusing for me now. I should have asked the questions right when it came up.
Yeah. Ask, please shoot.
Something about right now my mind is not working. I should have asked it immediately, but there are a lot of people talking, so I kept quiet. But doing things, sorry, well, I'll go back to the thing and bring the question again in the next class. Yeah.
Astu. Okay, Astu. Any other questions? Any other thoughts, comments? Chitra Mahodaya vadatu.
Mahodaya, before join Vedanta, I was free in my mind. After join, many questions, confusion that understood.
Yeah, that is the beauty of Vedanta. That means you are progressing.
I also.
Same thing
also
here.
agree.
That's why I said, no, I'm
And
confused.
before join Vedanta, I had many friends. Now I don't have very hardly. I think only Sushila Mahodaya is the only friend for me nowadays.
No. I think then you are applying it in the wrong way.
No, sir. I
No,
think
not wrong way, Mahodaya. Not interested in
Give
going
it.
shopping.
It's a beginning
In
stage.
that,
It's a starting state. That's what
that's
I
only.
think Mahadevan sir explained this last time when I heard him in some this one. It's all initial stage. It's the withdrawal symptom, what they call the withdrawal symptom for an addict.
Nothing seems important. Nothing else seems to be important, or
That's
no
all.
other.
Over time, it will all grow out. Over time, things will change.
Like outgrowing. We are actually
You have to
outgrowing.
outgrow that. That's all.
No, it's actually okay. That is one of the things that now I'm like unsettled. I was like happily cruising along. Now you're bringing up all this and shaking the boat, and I don't think I'm very happy about it.
No, things will change. Things will change. It's a matter of time how you cruise.
No, you've been leading something, a life, and you thought it was okay, good, you're a good human being, but then you now think there's so much more to be done. You're just nibbling at the thing, right on top, but not doing anything really.
Yeah, it'll go. Don't
really. So sort of unsettling and yeah.
No. Nothing to be unsettled about.
No, not in a bad way, but making you think more and
it actually questions you. You
question yourself. Yeah, I'm questioning myself. I was thinking I'm a good human being, but then
and
that's
at
not
the same
enough.
time, I'm not very unhappy also, Mahodaya. I'm very happy right now.
There you go. So that means you have outgrown the first phase. The second phase is yet to set in. You're in the second phase, so you're going there. So don't worry. Things will change.
Okay.
Nagaprabha Mahodaya vadatu.
You're on mute.
I think internet challenge.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Mahodaya?
Yeah. Karma purifies mind. You said, right? Karma purifies mind.
Go on.
Is it like that? But sometimes our karma forces us to do adharma.
Very, very, very important.
And sometimes adharma covers you, and it brings you down. You cannot express your dharma.
Very good. So I say
like collectively it affects everyone.
Absolutely. Very good question. Yeah. See, that's what I said. Only in certain circumstance, karma purifies the mind. It is not always that karma will all karma will purify your mind. That is not true. That is only in certain circumstance. I'll come to your next question. We'll do that later. So this is Arjuna's question. Atakkena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. So there is something that is forcing me to do something wrong. I know it is wrong. I know it is wrong. But there is something that is forcing me to do it. Still I do it. That's your question?
No, you don't want to do it, but it will force you to do it. Otherwise, it will it's dangerous for you.
Exactly. That's exactly what Arjuna is asking here.
Like how people convert, forcefully they convert. Nowadays, it's happening in other countries.
Yeah,
they forcefully convert.
Let's take that example. How do they do it? There are two techniques that they use. Mostly, in most of the cases. They'll coax you into doing converting because they'll either bribe you into it. The other way is, you are in some trouble, they'll say, well, I'll get you out of the trouble. These are the two ways, most of it. Let's leave out some other extreme cases, but in most of these cases, these are the two things. Correct? There's a promise of something that is coming in. That's exactly what Arjuna is also asking. Sometimes I'm forced to do this. If I don't get out of this trouble, I don't know how to lead my life. Right? You may not have money to say take care of somebody who is very unwell. So somebody comes to you and say, if you convert, I will give you money. You can take care of your health. You can take care of your parents' health, your health, whatever health. or you are not able to send children to school. So I'll give you and you can do it. Correct? That's what is happening. Look at Krishna. That is this one. Because what is Krishna is telling a very subtle point to this answer, to this question. He doesn't say, it's because of outside. He very clearly
Also, Mother, sometimes they keep a sword on your neck if you don't convert.
Yeah. That's what it is. That is an extreme case. That's an extreme case. For now, we'll say, okay, that is one case. There also this is applicable, but for now we'll just keep it as is. So there, Krishna clearly says, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashanaha mahapapma vidyenam iha vairinam. So he says this is the reason of Kama and Krodha. See, let's leave that extreme case of something on your neck, on your this one, okay? But the majority of the cases, it is these two. Either bribed or through something. Now, what is the inherent thing in you that is driving you to take it up? It is saying, if that child does not go to this particular school, I will lose something. Or, if that person is going, so I should also send this child to this school. Right? Or that person is unwell. That is sort of, living beyond the known sources of income, we say that. Living beyond means. That is used by somebody else to do it. Instead of that, now, how much right or wrong is a different story. But the point is, that is still your free will that you are saying that, I need this, so I am going there. If you can take a step back and get them to say that, there is nothing wrong in you going to some other school. There is nothing wrong in being what you are. That can drive a lot of things differently. You are taking away that Kama part of it. And then there is anger. There is a anger part, the bright part, which comes. Right? Is that clear? Was that your question? And karma purifies. That is the first question that you asked, right? So karma purifies only when done without phalakanksha.
And within the ends of dharma.
So there is a concept of surrender that is basically, sharanagati. Not surrender is a bad word. Sharanagati. Doing it with a sense of sharanagati. Then karma will necessarily purify. But if it is with a whole lot of result orientation, then it's going to be different. Okay?
Yes.
Does that answer the question, Modi?
Like having prasada buddhi. I mean, whatever.
Prasada buddhi is, we'll come to that. Yeah. Nagaprabhu Modi, does it answer the question?
Yeah, but someone's karma affects a whole country, like collectively.
Yes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, someone's karma affects the whole country. It is not completely always true.
No, collectively.
So that is a collective societal karma that comes up, and it is not just that. I'll tell you how it does. See, there we are also hanging on to that person. There is a sense of attachment there. So we attach to that person, and that person's karma comes along. If you stay detached, there's a different way, no? I'll take the best example is Krishna. He was there in the war, he orchestrated everything, still no karma came to him. Was when Gandhari cursed him, he said, all right, I am the settled duel, I'll accept it. I'll accept that curse without having done anything. Right? That detachment has to be very different. The real karma came to Arjuna and Yudhishthira and the Pandavas. Is that true? Krishna was the subtle doer. Is that what you mean?
Krishna was the...
So let's take the case of Duryodhana also. You say Duryodhana's karma affected his whole clan. Is that right?
Yeah, all his brothers.
Why?
Yeah. All, yeah.
Why?
They were attached to. They followed him.
Because of his
Attachment towards
yeah,
each other.
Attachment. Vidura, on the other hand, said, I don't have nothing to do with this. I don't like what you did. He walked out. He did not even have to fight the war. Bhishma, who could have actually stopped things, also had to fight that war. There was a sense of attachment there.
Attachment to his country he had.
Either attachment to the king or his highness. Right? So that attachment, that's the state of attachment that comes. Right?
What is the world without any attachment?
Huh?
What is this world without any attachment?
What is this world without any attachment? Yes, we will get to that point. At the end of Bhaja Govindam, that's exactly what it will come to. That's exactly what we are all trying to get to. Okay.
Shankaracharya's works are so hard hitting on you that you start questioning what I did up till now. Did I do the right thing?
So as I said, if you plainly read it, Bhaja Govindam is simple. I mean, there is hardly anything to be read there. Everybody knows a bit of Sanskrit and a bit of this one. You just do some Padacheda and you read the meaning. That's good enough.
That's what I meant. It's unsettling. It's unsettling. Yeah.
It's very unsettling and it's very subtle. The meanings are extremely subtle.
Mahodaya, can we say Akasha is detachment and Prithvi is attachment?
Okay, now you are leading to Upanishad comparison, but we will take that up in the next class. Today we are done for time. Akasha is detachment, Prithvi is attachment. Okay. Kurutvakarshana, so that is the example, I think, in Kathopanishad. Yeah, I think you are coming from Kathopanishad. Okay, we will take that some other time. That's an example, that's a metaphor given. It's just like Gadakasha, Guda, and so there is a pot and then there's an Akasha inside, there's an Akasha outside. Yeah, it has its limitations there. We'll have to take it up there.
You are far beyond struggling with this. You all are going to
Chitra, Mahodaya and Sushila Mahodaya don't.
I'm not talking.
Don't
actually, I'm not all talking. Mahodaya, I'm not at all talking.
Mahodaya has a question, so we'll end with this question.
Yes.
I hope it's not too basic, but I was wondering as Nagaprabha Mahodaya was speaking that if we do something wrong, it may affect collectively us. But it seems that I still probably don't understand if in this Vyavaharika level, we are two, like it's dualistic. So if I do something wrong, it won't affect others, because I thought like what Nagaprabha was saying, I agree. Like if I do something wrong, it may affect other people.
So as I said, it affects everyone who is attached to you.
But does it imply that in this level we are one or two?
Come again?
Does it imply that in this level we are ekatvam or?
Okay. Ekatva, Advaita and Advaita, yeah. So the concept of Advaita is you are not seeing ekatvam in everyone. Because there's a lot of ignorance all around. In the sense that if you were to do that, then as ekatva, then you would probably not even need to do it. That action. You would do only that action, which will be, if it's Aikya Bhava, then there is no difference between you and anything else. I think I should answer that. Now Chitra Mahodaya has brought it back. So let's take the example of a pot. Okay. Now there is a space inside that pot, right? And then there's a space outside that pot. Right. Now the space inside that pot, irrespective of what it is, it's still space. It is the same space. But the space has certain properties of it. Right. The properties of that space is constrained because of the pot. Now, suppose the pot breaks. It becomes one. Then you cannot distinguish who is doing, whether it is the space outside the pot which is doing something or space within the pot which is doing something. Right. So that is the difference between a Chidakasha and a Gadakasha. Similarly, when you act, who is that you which is acting?
The ego?
Ego. Now the ego, if it is acting as the Paramatman or as the other person who what it's directed to, then there is Aikya. Then there is no, say we do that. If you have very close friends, I'll give a very simple example. You have very close friends. You are exactly thinking exactly alike, right? You know exactly how this will impact the other person and then you act with each other. That's sort of an Aikya Bhava there, saying, okay, we know exactly what the result is and we accept both of it. Whereas if you are acting in a way that is only you, that collectiveness is not there, but it will affect everybody else. There also it affected the other person, but it exactly affected the same way as it was affecting you, and both of you are accepting it in the same way.
So it is acceptance which is important there.
No, acceptance
how
is
you
not
accept
important.
it?
Action also is important.
No, the result,
No,
the effect
Madhya,
of the result.
let's not just take the result. It's not just the action. I'm talking of the action and the result together. Because in this case, the action would have been exactly the same by the other person also.
Okay.
You understand each other so well and you are with each other so much that you understand each other's actions so much that you both would have acted exactly the same way and accept that action and accept the result. Acceptance of not just the action and not just the result, but also the action. See, there is an action. I think I need to stop. It's already 8:40. A lot of people will want to leave. So I'll just do one thing. I'll do the Mangala and then probably I'll answer your question in 2 minutes. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Brahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Shobhareta Brahmana Sandarbhaya Putra Putra Santo Putra Santo Pautrinaha Adana Sadana Santo Jivantu Sharadam Shatam Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhaat Bhavet Harihi Om Astu. So